Remember earlier this week when basically every right wing in the country became convinced that Vice President Kamala Harris had been having her book given to kids being held in migrant lockup? Yeah, and it turned out that that was not true. The idea that you would believe it is true is just crazy, but many people did. Now they had one excuse, which is that a New York Post article said that it was true. That was the only source for it, but they did have that source. That has since been changed. However, there's another update as well, and that is that the author of that article put out a few tweets. Laura Italiano says, an announcement. Today I handed in my resignation to my editors at the New York Post. The Kamala Harris story, an incorrect story I was ordered to write and which I failed to push back hard enough against, was my breaking point. It's been a privilege to cover the city of New York for its liveliest, wittiest tabloid, a paper filled with reporters and editors I admire deeply and hold as friends. I'm sad to leave. That is apparently all true, even if the name sounds a little bit made up. Like it sounds like something Francesca would come up with on a Monday show at TDR. But anyway, it is apparently true. I'm not gonna stake my entire political ideology on it like they did with the original story, but it is apparently true. And so it looks like an instance where there was some pressure by the editors to produce a certain story, even if the writer who was putting it together did not believe that the evidence actually supported it.
Well, it sounds like it's rife with all kinds of problems, but if that's the case, and maybe it would have been, I guess, jeopardizing her job if she came out before this and pointed out that she's getting pressured to write the story. But I mean, your job's gone now over it. And was she pressured because she knew it was all a big lie? She knew it was like, propaganda to push a certain point. I don't know if she included any of that in her explanation, but I mean, the courage to point it out now, I guess, is something, but the courage to point it out before you spread misinformation and lies that then get picked up all over the place, that would be
it's
a little
hard.
bit more helpful.
If you're gonna lose your job, I get that. It is your job to lose your job rather than tell lies as a journalist, but
yeah, but she quit her job now anyway. So it's the same result, just after you caused the damage of misinformation.
I mean, it might be, but what I'm saying is, JR, it might be that you put it out there, you don't like it, then when it's picked up, it shows you how much damage that can do, and probably a feeling of even greater guilt. Like it's one thing to okay a story, but then when it becomes like the national story for right wingers for 24 hours, like actually kind of pushing the fake Biden meat story out of the news cycle, then maybe that's like that tells you, no, I gotta get out of here. This is not where I need to be.
Maybe. I mean, I guess we're giving her the benefit of the doubt on all this stuff.
I'm trying.
Yeah, no, and by the way, it's fine too. I'm not against that. Because we never know what was actually going through her head or what actually happened in the timeline and way she felt about it, and if she felt she needed to keep her job. And then, people's breaking points are different. So I'm not here to judge that. It just, I don't know, maybe this can be a cautionary tale for anyone else who's looking to write some more propaganda or is being told to write lies for the sake of pushing a propaganda point for a certain side. It just doesn't make any sense. Or maybe we just point out the fact that if this editor in this particular newspaper or online publication decided to do this, where's the punishment coming down for them? Where's the pushback and the rejection from society to them over this? If you're mad at her, you definitely should be upset at the publication.
Well, by the way, you should also continue to be upset at the publication because despite all of this, they're still finding a way to be pretty awful about it. So we're gonna jump ahead slightly, note to the director, but the story was found to be false. They only found one photograph of a single copy of Harris's book, Superheroes Are Everywhere, that was donated. The story was temporarily removed on Tuesday and has since been republished with an editor's note advising that only, quote, one known copy of the book was given to a child. Like there's some sort of behind the scenes conspiracy, hidden books. Kids are transporting them inside teddy bears. No, there was a book. That's all it was. Stop trying to cling to your story, but they really are. The revised version of the article removed the claim that the Harris book was being placed in welcome kits and added the fact that the book was donated by a community member, but it still claimed that the presence of the book in the shelter was, quote, an open arms gesture by the Biden administration, even though there's no evidence that the administration had anything to do with it. So Biden is guilty because some volunteer maybe put it there.
Can we at least think about, okay, approach this as if you are a conservative, someone who is a Fox News watcher and is gonna believe anything that's said. Or maybe this is a New York Post, the publication?
Yeah.
That wrote it, and you read it and you're outraged. When I'm outraged about something that's happening politically, I go, I can't believe they're doing this because it does this. What if Kamala Harris's book was all over the place? Mm-hmm. What if her book was, first off, a welcome package? Is there, and then folks that are coming in are seeing it. What does that do for them? What does that do?
I wouldn't want it.
Migrant children who just got here over whatever kind of treacherous journey they took to get here, and then they're here, and then Kamala Harris's book is sitting there. I thought, Central Americans and Mexicans and everything were horrible people who don't know English. They need to learn the English language. First of all, they don't know English. How are they gonna read her book? Why would they pick up her book? Are they gonna go and have casual reading while they're in holding cells? Because we are pointing out how the Biden administration is screwing up things on the border, and they still have these kids in cells and cages, and it's overpopulated and all that stuff. Are they gonna have some casual reading time while they're in overpopulated cells that we're talking about how this crisis is going on at the border? They keep mixing up their talking points. 1 second, it's a crisis at the border with all these issues, which is true. But the next moment, they're handing out Kamala Harris's books because Kamala Harris's books are a rave with the immigrants from Central America. What are you talking about? Are they dirty immigrants that don't know English? Or are they sophisticated, well-read 7-year-olds that are looking to read Kamala Harris's book and then be inspired to do what? What's in Kamala Harris's book that's so devastating to the American public that if these immigrants get their hands on it, they're gonna do what? What are you mad about? Even if this stupid BS story is true, they got their hands on Kamala Harris's book. A 7-year-old kid from Guatemala. What's he gonna do with it? Oh my God, it's so stupid that even after they write the story, that anybody goes, "This is devastating." It's not devastating, even if it was true. It's stupid. What a dumb thing for Kamala Harris to do. Give kids a book. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Look, you need to be more understanding of Fox News. They have to whip their audience up into a new frenzy every day, while importantly, never acknowledging any of the real problems in America. That is probably at least somewhat difficult to do. And it leads to them freaking out about stuff, and they have no idea even why they're freaking out about it.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.